dear students, this is our video number 3, which is regarding the introduction to statistics. The first 2 videos were regarding the introduction to economics for statistics, or rather economics only, where we were able to understand the origin, meaning, definitions, a bit of history of economics. Now this is introduction to statistics, in which you will be doing right from origin to its importance, and through its definitions, characteristics, functions, importance in every day-to-day field. And I would say one thing before I proceed with this very class, that this is the most important class for you, because statistics, the most important subject, I would say, because statistics is such a subject. Even if you study anything in your life, you will have to study statistics in one way or the other way. With every subject, it is integrated in one way or the other way. And statistics not only is important from the point of view of your studies, but in your day-to-day life, it is much compulsory. It has attained great importance, because everything you talk about nowadays contains some statistics which are really very important, and by the virtue of which you are able to understand many things. So we proceed with this topic, statistics for economics, in a way that we will first talk about the origin of statistics, and origin will let us know many things. And origin of statistics is something a bit interesting. Before I come to the academic origin, as we say, as we talk about it, as we have to write, let us go back to some 3000 plus years back. When we are talking about 3000, I am saying 3000 plus years. And that means I am going to the times of Ramesses, when pyramids were used to they used to make pyramids of Egypt. You must be knowing the pyramids. The pyramids, they used to take a lot of time to get built, so there used to be a lot to take care of. So what they usually used to do, they used to do a census of everything, right from the structure of their labors to the materials used. They used to take care of everything, and they used to make an account of everything. They used to write everything. The structure of laborers was such that it was also in the pyramid shape, that there used to be one person at the helm of affairs here, and others used to be, say, on the managerial part, and this portion belonged to the laborer part only. So these pyramids of Giza, when they were built, they used to keep an account. That account is something where we get the traces of, or where we get the origin of statistics in real senses. When I say word statistics, this word statistics in itself is, I would say, very old age word. It is such a word which has been there from the very beginning. So let me clear the screen for you people, so that we may let us move the screen only. So when I am talking about the statistics and its origin, so origin of statistics is something where we have to first understand the word statistics in itself. This word has been in context or in use from the very beginning. I am talking of its origin. So origin of statistics, I am saying. We find a Latin word, status, S-T-A-T-U-S, status. This status word is Latin in origin. Or there is one more Italian word, statista. And both the two words in one way or the other way mean political state. Political state. There is one more Italian word which is stato. So it also means the same. This term was used some around this term statistics. It is in use from some around 15th century itself. When we say 15th century, that means we are talking a long time back. Even there, you must have heard about a famous English writer, Shakespeare. Shakespeare also has used a word in his one of the famous dramas, Hamlet, which was some around 1602. That is statist. So this word has been in use from very long, very back ages. Statistics, if we would say, was used by rulers only. So we reached back to the times of pyramid. Statistics was used by rulers because it was something which was an affair of a nation. It was something which was totally used for the national purposes. Statistics, if we say, as a distinct or different, distinct scientific discipline, if we say as a distinct scientific discipline, it was developed some around in 19th century. That means people have been using it from age-old times, but they were not aware that in future this will be something as a subject, as a complete branch to study economics, population, economies, etc., etc. It is used everywhere nowadays. Now, if we say about the definition of statistics as its origin is also interesting, because it's when we say definition should be such which can in reality make one understand that what it is all about. It is necessary to have some quantitative. We have two terms. We talk of two terms. One is qualitative, from quality, and quantitative, from quantity. So when we talk in numbers, this is quantitative. So definition, it is necessary to have quantitative measurement. If we are taking quantitative measurement, that means we are using statistics. Basically, the things which we can quantify are included in statistics. This expression, this statement, or this systematic treatment of quantifying or quantitative approach is known as statistics. is known as statistics. Maybe this is a bit difficult at this very stage for you people to understand that what we are talking about, what is quantity and all. It will get explained in it's just a matter of few minutes. So any expression which is in quantitative nature is statistics. Certain statements fulfill this criteria and certain do not. How? I'll tell you. But first of all, the most important thing is that statistics is not defined in a single way. Statistics is defined in two ways. There are two ways to define statistics. Number first is statistics in plural sense, and number second is statistics in singular sense. So we will take these definitions one by one, then only we will be able to understand what we mean by this singular sense and plural sense. When we take statistics in plural sense, we define statistics as, I'll write the whole definition for you people. This definition is by Horace Saccharist. He says, in plural sense, by statistics we mean aggregates means as a whole of facts affected to a marked extent by multiplicity of causes. So there is not only one cause, there are many causes, and numerically expressed. So anything which we express in numbers is statistics, or enumerated or estimated according to a reasonable standard of accuracy. So you see what I am saying about. So it is not only that it is enumerated or it is standard of accuracy, but also collected in a systematic manner. So see, the things are getting explained for a predetermined purpose and placed in relation to each other. If you would see, this is not only the definition here, it is going to explain a lot of things which we are talking about. It is going to explain many of its characteristics, if I would say, this definition in itself. According to Horace Saccharist, you see, in plural sense, statistics, by statistics we mean, number first, aggregates of facts which are affected to a marked extent by multiplicity of causes, which are numerically expressed, which are enumerated or estimated according to a reasonable standard of accuracy, which are collected in a systematic manner for a predetermined purpose and placed in relation to each other. These all things are explaining the very nature, very characteristic of the statistics in plural sense. if we see what this whole definition covers, we would be able to segregate the things like the numerical presentation of facts or statistics in plural sense. We'll be able to say easily that statistics is anything which is aggregate of facts. Second thing, it is affected to a marked extent by multiplicity of causes. Number 3, it is numerically expressed. I'll give the examples. What does it all mean? Number 4, it must be enumerated to a reasonable standard of accuracy. Number 5, collected in a systematic manner. Number 6, for a predetermined purpose. And number 7, are placed in relation to each other. So you can see here, when we talk of the aggregates of facts, that means if we have only one numerical data regarding anything, it's not of any use. There is not a single cause which will affect it. There are many causes which can affect it. It must be numerically expressed. It must be accurate, collected in a systematic manner, for a predetermined purpose, and placed in relation to each other. That means if I'll make an example out of it, that example will look like something that, say, if we are talking about a predetermined purpose, I have got a purpose that I have to see that how many people, say, my purpose is to know how many people overcome to the effects of COVID-19. So I'm saying how many people, that means it is in the plural sense itself. So what should happen here? I will see through the data of different nations. I will look into such organizations whose data is reliable enough. I will look into my purpose, that is, to know how many people are able to overcome the effects of COVID-19. That means all these things together. It's not only that. When I am saying how many people, how many itself is quantifying it. It is a quantitative approach now. I'll get to know about different nations. Say we have X, Y, Z nations. In X nations, out of 100,000 people, there were 90,000 plus people who were able to overcome it. In nation Y, we have 50,000 people who were affected, and out of it there were 30,000 people who got out of it. And in nation Z, there were 20,000 people who were affected, but there were at the same time 15,000 people who overcame it or who came out of it very properly. So these numbers are statistics. Understand it. And when we are able to make a comparison in between the nation X with Y and Z, of nation Z with vice versa X and Y, if we are able to make comparison of all these very three nations to each other in a true or fro manner, that means we are able to fulfill our predetermined purpose, because we have placed all these very things in relation to each other. Now the second question which what remains here is we have to talk about statistics again, but we will be talking about statistics in singular sense. So statistics in singular sense, I'll take a definition of Croxton and Cowden. They too have defined statistics in a very beautiful manner. They say in singular sense, by statistics we mean, this is a very beautiful definition, as a science, now look into the steps I am taking, of collection, classification, number 2, analysis, number 3, presentation, number 4, and interpretation. At the same time of what? Of numerical data. So that means in singular sense or in plural sense, we have to talk about the statistics only in numerical sense, in quantitative measures. So what I was saying, that this collection, classification, analysis, presentation, interpretation, and of numerical data, this is the definition in singular sense. You see, more of it seems that we are talking about something which is functional in nature. We are talking of a process. When we talk in the sense where we are able to understand the process of statistics, we are talking in the singular sense. So in singular sense, why in singular sense? Because each and every step here and the definition itself, whether it is collection, whether it is classification, analysis, presentation, interpretation, these are all single individual units which all together will present something. As in the previous example, I was talking about the COVID-19 cases. What we did, we collected, if I'll use the same example to make you people understand the definition in singular sense. What we did, we first of all we collected the data. As you can see on the screen, when we were writing about in nation X, in nation Y, in nation Z, we collected the data. You can see here. When we are talking about the collection of data, then we classified it. Classify means to put it in a particular definite shape. What we did, we classified the data in nation X, then nation Y, then nation Z. Then what we did, we made an analysis, what has happened. Then we presented it. There are many ways to present the data, but this is one of the ways. In a tabular or in a textual way, we presented the data, and ultimately what we did, we made our interpretation. That interpretation could be the total number of people who were affected was 1,70,000. Total number was 1,70,000. 1,70,000 people were affected by the COVID-19 or coronavirus. Now, out of 1,70,000 people, there were 90,000, 30,000, and 15,000. That means 1,05,000 and 1,35,000 people. 1,35,000 people who were able to cope with that problem, or who were able to come out of the symptoms, etc. This is interpretation, and we can interpret it in percentage terms. We can interpret it in any other way, and we can present it also in many other ways. So this is the definition of statistics in the I would say singular sense. What it makes us to understand finally is that we will be now able to understand one more thing, that is functions of statistics. So we are now able to understand the functions of statistics. It's a very different topic entire. Number first and foremost function of statistics is that it simplified the things for us. So statistics, I'll be using STA upper bar for statistics every time, simplifies what? Complex data. Complex data. I'll make an example for it in the coming time. Number second, it presented, that means statistics presented the facts. It is one more function, important function, in a definition form. In a definition form. So that means what we would had been able to look or say in numbers only, now we are able to define it as well. Number three, statistics provided us a technique of or technique for or technique of comparison. Both the two ways we can talk about it. It provided us something to compare with, x with y, y with z, z with x, x with z. So there are many possibilities. So number fourth, statistics made us to study, that means it studies a relationship. So relationships between x and, say I was talking about x and y, then y and z, then it could be x and z, so on and so forth. There are many possibilities in it. Number fifth, statistics now will help us in formulating policies. If the government has to make any policy to cope with the problems of COVID-19 this time, they will formulate policies on the basis of data which was here. So this data is going to help us to understand that how we will be able to do. Say this very afternoon, Mr. Modi made an announcement. He was talking to a chief minister of any state, and he said him to use that gamcha, that muffler they use, the cloth piece, usually use it as a mask. That means this is a policy. If you have dearth of resources, you have to cope with the wants, then you can use locally made material or which is available very easily. So number six, we can talk about, it helps in forecasting. You know, forecasting means where you are able to say something about the future. We are able to say something about the future, that this lockdown is going to affect the economy in the long terms or in the short terms. The economy is in a recession this time. It may enter into the depression, so on and so forth. These all things they say is on the basis of statistics only. And last but not least, seventh, we can say that it will help us now. It helps in it helps to test, I would say like this, and formulate theories. Now theories are important. When you have something in the textual form, in the theoretical form, then only it is possible for us people to make it in the practical form or apply it or practice it. After functions of statistics, it leads us to one more important thing, that is importance. Now till now we